At the Coliseum, where Chris Dufresne won the prediction challenge. 35-21 was his prediction. 40-21 was the final score. USC defeating UCLA. Chris, you were at Oregon last week when the Trojans lost by 20 to the Ducks. Did you expect this one today?
You know what? I didn't really know what to expect today. I knew what to expect last week. I mean, I almost predicted the score of that game. I said it was going to be 48-31. It was 48-28. This one I was a little shakier on because I wasn't sure. I mean, the teams were pretty even, and there were so many kind of unknowns in terms of injuries and who was going to play. So it made it more difficult. But you know, betting against USC at home with the kind of talent they still have on the field, I thought it was their game. They were more motivated. They had every reason to want to win after losing 3 in a row, and they played a complete game.
Your focus on the quarterbacks. Vernon Adams escaped USC's defense last week. Today, Josh Rosen was completely rattled, threw 2 interceptions, was sacked several times. What's the difference there?
Well, this is one of the things, and I wrote about this, why I love college football, because Josh Rosen is a next-level player. He's probably a future first-round draft pick. But in this sport, prototypes don't matter. You can be a guy like Vernon Adams, who is not going to play in the NFL, at least quarterback, but it doesn't matter in this game. He is so different he was so elusive. It was like trying to catch a bug last week, and that's different than a Rosen who is just so fundamentally sound, but more of a pocket quarterback who's efficient. But if you can get to him, at least you have a chance of tackling him, and that wasn't the case last week.
Chris, always a voice of reason after games when Twitter wants to crush everybody or crown everybody the king. Clay Helton now has defeated UCLA, the first coach to do so in the last 4 seasons. What does that mean for him becoming the permanent head coach?
Well, this sort of started last week when everyone said that once he lost the game, that was it. That was over. But then he lost at Oregon, but it was like, well, it's not over yet because they can still win the Pac-12 championship. And how do you fire a coach that wins the Pac-12 championship? Well, you can't. So this is kind of one of those things that's just going to get stretched on and on. And now what happens if he loses a close game to Stanford? Will he be considered? What if he gets blown out against Stanford? Then does that put him into the not considered category? So we really are day to day with this story, and there's no answer yet until the season plays out.
And the season will continue to play out for USC next week when they play Stanford in the Pac-12 Conference Championship game. With the Los Angeles Times, I'm Lindsay Theory with Chris Dufresne. For the latest coverage on USC, be sure to check out the LA Times.